Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to an episode of my F1 2018 career mode, episode number 166 today for the Mexican Grand Prix in Season 8. If you guys did miss the previous one, the USA Grand Prix, then be sure to go check the one out before you see this one. That was quite a interesting episode to say the least, on a return after a while from this series, with a bit of a pit lane race entry, if you did see that one. If you haven't, definitely go check the one out, like I said. But going into this one then, it's set up a very crucial race really, because at USA, Gasly got a ton of points on us now, and the gap is only 6 points. But at Mexico, we have gone well usually around here, and especially with the straight line speed nature of the circuit, it is very easy to make overtakes. And also our car, the Alfa Romeo racing car this season, has been very quick in a straight line. It may not show it sometimes, but it very much did kind of last episode, especially on the back straight with DRS, that it is still rapid in a straight line. So I think we could go quite well here and try and drag this car up somewhat and really try and challenge the Red Bull Hondas this race. I think this might be the best chance to really try and nail Gasly and try and get some points back, because if you think about it, Brazil next episode, that's always an AI dominant track. The AI is so good around Brazil, and then Abu Dhabi is a bit of a toin cost. So really this episode is the last time I get a chance to really get some points on Gasly and maybe try and set myself up as comfortably as I can for the last two episodes then of this season. So we're here on the first flying lap then. First sector went pretty damn well, and now flying through sector 2, and you can really tell visually the car is absolutely on rails. The Season 8 cars in career mode are such a joy to drive at Mexico, I tell you what, because they just go so quick. But here, through the last few corners, we're going to get, unfortunately, caught up with Romain Grosjean there. Screen freeze also at the same time, and so I have to overtake him and also deal that screen freeze in the same apex there. So that definitely lost us at least 2-3 tenths perhaps as we go through the last corner. Then across the line, it's still going to be provisional pole position then, and by the time we start our second flying lap, we're still on provisional pole. Gasly second place. It's so close though, but unfortunately, even though I'm just about green on the first sector, I go red because I start getting hit with dirty air from Carlos Sainz. We've got 3 cars ahead. My engineers and myself haven't timed this correctly, and so in this second flying lap, another screen freeze there for the second time in qualifying, and I get hit with a waft of dirty air as well, and the lap's blown. There's no point. I've already lost too much time, so I give up on this lap. Checker flag's fallen. I'm still provisional pole, so I'm just going to have to hope and pray that the usual kind of AI, simulation speed up doesn't really happen too much at the end. I take the courtesy of going all the way into the pit lane, into my pit box, to try and hopefully stop that happening. And so by the time we go through, thankfully, it isn't going to happen, and we do get our first pole position in a long while in the Alfa Romeo racing car here. But you can see how close the margin was to Gasly, so this could be such a good battle in the race between myself and my championship rival there. You can see it was really a day for one teammate to do much better than the other, because Carlos Sainz and the other Red Bulls nowhere. Leclerc really didn't turn up too much there, and both Renaults were a little bit slower than I thought they would be, and the Merc Hulkenberg was pretty much a decent compared to Verstappen. I thought Verstappen would be the one to be ahead, of course, so bit of a weird qualifying really in a sense. There was a lot of traffic for me, so there might have been traffic for other people, but nonetheless we've done the job when it matters. And like I said, this is the probably only last race where I can hope to do something like this. Brazil's out of the question. Abu Dhabi just don't know, so let's just get into this. Let's make the most of this race then and try and beat Gasly.
Formula One may have been absent from Mexico for 23 years, but after 2015's triumphant return, it was as if we'd never been away. In Mexico, a Grand Prix is more than just a race. It's a celebration of speed and of bravery. There's nothing quite like the atmosphere in the stadium today. They'll be drowning out the cars with their noise as they make their way through on lap 1. At 2,285 metres above sea level, the thin air of the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez poses a unique challenge, not just to a driver's skill, but to the efficiency of their engines as well. 17 corners make up a lap of this 2.6-mile circuit, and you can expect incredible speeds in excess of 220 miles per hour, and overtaking too into the hard braking zones of turns 1 and turn 4. Anthony Davidson joins me again for the race today. Let's talk briefly about Kevin Magnussen. There's a new gearbox in the back of that car, which means a grid penalty, and hopefully some excitement as they make their way through the field.
Well, at the end of the day, it's always better to take some pain now than parking it up halfway through the Grand Prix. Let's just hope they can put that new gearbox to good use and get the results they're looking for.
And so with that, let's have a look at the starting grid ahead of this Mexican Grand Prix for Season 8 of my F1 2018 career mode. On pole position then is myself, and alongside me is my championship rival Pierre Gasly in second place in the Red Bull Honda. Third place then will be the Mercedes car of Nico Hülkenberg, ahead of Lewis Hamilton in the Renault on the second row of the grid. Third row is Leclerc and Max Verstappen, with seventh Romain Grosjean alongside Brendan Hartley in the McLaren. Then comes Ricciardo and Fernando Alonso with a grid penalty down in P10. Sebastian Vettel P11 just outside the top 10, with Carlos Sainz in disappointing P12. Next row is all Force India, Bottas and Perez, then Kimi Raikkonen and Lance Stroll, the two Williams, ahead of Sergei Sropkin the penalty in the Toro Rosso, Esteban Ocon. Then you got Magnussen on the last row with a penalty, and Van Dorn also with a penalty for the last place for the Mexican Grand Prix. Right, so here we are. It's been a long while since I've seen nothing but a safety car ahead of me here on the starting grid, but here we are then in pole position. Strategy-wise, two-stop then. The Hypersoft tires us 2 sets of Ultras. That'll be the fastest way probably for us, and the car is feeling so good actually. I think that going aggressive like that on a two-stop is going to be the way to go. We don't need to try and think fancy like a one-stop. We're not that desperate. We've got the pace. Just need to make sure we actually use it in the race and pull off the strategy. So here we go then to 5 red lights to a very important Mexican Grand Prix for the championship fight here with Pierre Gasly. 5 red lights are going to be out, and we're underway for the third last round of the season, cutting across Pierre Gasly to try and chop him off and try and defend this first place there. But Gasly will have the speed as we go towards turn 1. A lot of people have the speed. Leclerc's come out of nowhere. Where on earth has he come from? He was way down the order in P6. He's now up into P1. Momentarily, Hamilton comes out of nowhere and dive bombs round the outside. He's managed to drift his way through into P1. We're down to P2, but Leclerc is in third place, just ahead of Gasly. He's done fantastic. My teammate has taken one for the team. He's done me a solid there, and Gasly's down to 4th place from 2nd, so that is absolutely amazing. Hamilton's in 1st. I don't know how that's happened, because both Renaults didn't look that great in qualifying, but he's done the job there. Mega lap 1 for Hamilton, but now we go chasing after. We should have the race pace over the Renault car, but let's have a quick look at a replay then. So it was just me and Gasly initially, but then out of nowhere, Leclerc, Hamilton, the Mercedes car of Hülkenberg, that is, just builds speed, and it ends up being 4 wide there momentarily. Hamilton with a huge dive. You can see how late he brakes compared to Leclerc, and managed to slip past me and him, and then Leclerc just does a good job to not be swamped by Gasly and the other Renault of Alonso there in the background. So Leclerc's done very well to be in 3rd place, but now as we go through into lap 3, DRS enabled, Hamilton with a purple lap, but I've also got a purple, so we're both pushing each other hard. I'm crucially keeping him quite honest here, so we should be able to close him down, and by the time we get to the end of lap 4 this is, so just about 2 laps later as we move on to lap 5 this will be, we should be able to overtake him now. We've got a DRS, we're within 1 second, and with the pace of this car in a straight line you're about to see, we should have this. We set another purple fast after the Grand Prix, but look at the speed. The straight is so long, and the speed we're getting is ridiculous there. It is so quick. It's like I've sped up the video in the way how quickly these Season 8 cars are around Mexico. It's awesome to watch, and we're up into 1st place then of the Mexican Grand Prix, and now it's all about controlling this Grand Prix from here on out and trying to see what we can do with the strategy, what we can do with the tyres, and how long they'll go. But Hamilton is keeping me honest as we move on to lap number 6. He's staying with us there. He's got DRS himself, and that Renault, remember, in the early part of the season, the Renault was absolutely OP on acceleration, and it's still got a few of those characteristics there, because Hamilton is really pushing me hard through the first 2 turns, and you can see there he's got a great exit as we spark away. Hamilton has a second bite of DRS there. He's going to come through rapid time on the right-hand side, so we go defensive to the left, lock up on the front left. Hamilton squeezes us. We go for this switchback move to the other side of the circuit there. Beautiful little tussle and racing here with Hamilton, like a beautiful little choreographed dance. And we're up into 1st place once more. So Hamilton tried his best, but no luck there. I think we should be able to lock this down till that first pit stop there. But meanwhile, behind us, Leclerc still doing an amazing job as a teammate in 3rd place. Gasly P4. Thank you very much, Charles. You're doing a great job for me and the team as well in the championship. Remember, constructors-wise also, we're trying our best to overtake Red Bull. So if Leclerc could finish ahead of Gasly, that would be great. But I've spoken too soon, because Gasly now has just flown past him with DRS. So he's now up into 3rd place. But for how long? Maybe Leclerc could come back at him. We'll have to check up and see how that goes, but for now we're going to focus back on ourselves. Lap number 8, locking up quite a bit in the right corner, and you can see going quite slow as on the minimap they've all started to bunch up behind me a little bit, because my pace not been great on these Ultras now. So I'm going to come in now for our first pit stop there, but obviously having track position, you can afford to kind of train the kind of pack a little bit, and kind of you're going to be the first to blink here, as it were. So we come in, then knock over the bollard for good measure, and we're going to strap on a set of Ultra tyres for this first stop in this afternoon. But we should get into good undercut, because Mexico in the past has been pretty good for undercut, so I think we should be pretty good actually with this, despite us struggling, because I imagine the others will eventually start to struggle on those tires as well. I just obviously hit my struggles a bit earlier, no surprise. Generally speaking, the AI have always been a bit more consistent on the tyre wear than the player, or just myself in general, on the career mode here on this game over the year. But now we move on, we're up into P11, or down to P11 rather, as we come out on lap 9, just behind Sergio Perez. So let's try and overtake him with some swift action here. Obviously, we had a bit of traffic in qualifying. I don't need traffic in the race hampering me, especially when I need to get the power down and make this outlap count for the undercut. So here we go, closing up, no DRS with Perez, and Perez gets very close there to squeezing me into the grass. It's almost like he didn't realise I was going to the left-hand side, but he squeezed him out in the end, and we're up into P10. We'll close up to Sebastian Vettel, who might be a bit awkward because that Ferrari car's been very slow. He goes defensive to the inside for some reason, but we just be a bit patient, and I see the gap is going to open up there, and we're able to swoop to the inside, that was. And now we go through the last few turns, swing through the last corner, over the bump, try and plant the pan, second, third gear, fourth gear, and now we're going to try and get up the order with a few cars making their first pit stop finally, including that one man, Pierre Gasly. There he is, out the pit lane then on the right, and he's actually a lot closer than I actually thought he'd be, to us. That's a little bit worrying. I think he's gained some time there as we now move on to chasing after Ricciardo, and so more traffic to contend with, and Gasly is actually in the proximity area region there, so he's actually gained on us in that pit stop phase, so that's not actually that great for us, and so we need to be wary here. So I don't know what actually happened in the pit stop phase with the Renault cars, but I think Leclerc and Gasly have both got ahead of Hamilton, so that's going to be an interesting one to see. I don't know if Renault maybe had a double stack or an issue with major traffic, we'll see. But speaking of traffic, like I said, we catch up to Ricciardo now, going to make a move down the inside, very decisive to get this done before we get to the hairpin where I got caught up in qualifying with Grosjean, and there's contact there with Gasly and Ricciardo, so I didn't get caught up with Rick Bobby, but Gasly certainly did, and there was a bit of carbon fibre off there, I think, if you saw eagle-eyed viewers, and the question is, was it damage for Ricciardo or Gasly? Ricciardo continues on, and you know what? I think Gasly, look at the mini-map there, as it just goes off the screen. I think Gasly has pit for an extra pit stop. That is huge news, and this is what happened then. Bang, just a big impact for Gasly. The front wing cascade element came off there as he hits the side pods of Ricciardo there, and that was mainly unintentionally, because I obviously squeezed out Ricciardo down the inside with a late move. That forced Ricciardo wide, but then Ricciardo started to turn in back onto the racing line way too quickly. It was a little bit dangerous, to be fair, from Ricciardo, but obviously Gasly was already committed to the corner, and so Gasly just hit him straight away. Just two racing cars meeting at the same point in the track, trying to go for the same piece of tarmac, and so Gasly has to make an extra pit stop, and so that's mega for not only the driver championship, but also the constructors, because now it's only two Alfa Romeos v one Red Bull, and the other Red Bull is Carlos Sainz, and here he is at the moment. He's in first place, Carlos Sainz is. That's only because he was outside the top 10, so he started on Ultras, you can see right there, and he's probably going to try a one-stop onto Super Softs there. So for now, he does lead, a Red Bull does lead the race, but eventually I would like to think that Leclerc and myself would get ahead of Sainz just on the faster two-stop strategy, really. But way down the order now, as we flick through the replay cameras trying to find Gasly. There he is, way down the order now, outside the top 10. He's going to have some mega fighting to do, so this could be a very good episode for me now at the Mexican Grand Prix in terms of getting points. But as we move on then to lap 13, instead of looking forward, I'm actually looking backwards, because Leclerc is right up my chuff. He's had some mega pace there, and off the last corner, I'm on hot lap mode. We're in standard mixture, albeit, but he flies past me in DRS as well. And so, fair play, he's just got enough pace right now. And to be honest, I'm going to be smart enough to realise that there's no point fighting Leclerc right now. I've got a great opportunity to get a lot of points on Gasly. I'm not going to fight him now. If I'm fast enough later on in the race, I will overtake Leclerc. I will go for it. But right now, at this stage, I'm not feeling too fast. Leclerc clearly has a lot of pace there in the tank. I'll let him go and chase after Sainz right now. I'll try and follow behind and try and get some toe off him to maybe help me out. But as Gasly sets the fast lap of the Grand Prix, that's a reminder. I need to make sure my lap times are good rather than my position with Leclerc. So I'll let him go for now. Later on in the race, hopefully I can catch him back and try and re-overtake him eventually. We'll have to see. But here is Gasly then making his way through traffic of Sebastian Vettel and the Force IndyCar, I think, of Sergio Perez, I believe. And he's getting held up a little bit. And you can see there, ideally he made that move in that corner, but he didn't. He's getting held up even more now through these next turns. You have to wait patiently to the main straight. So this is such a good opportunity for us as a driver and then also the team-wise, like I said. So, you know, Gasly will make it through. I would say he does have the pace. Obviously, the Red Bull's been so OP as of late that you would say he's going to have enough pace to get through back into decent points, you know, maybe P7, P6. That's still going to be a big difference compared to, you know, let's say me finishing P2 and him finishing P3. That's only a difference of 3 points, whereas he finishes down in P7, that's a major difference. But as we move up towards the front of the field, then the two Renaults are in tandem, and then you got myself in third place, Leclerc second place. Sainz still leads the way, and to be honest, the gap he's got to Leclerc, he could be a bit of a spanner in the works, you know. Sainz, I maybe wrote him off too easily. He could genuinely try and stay ahead of both us Alfa Romeo cars if he has enough pace, but he comes in eventually for his one and only pit stop here. So Leclerc will take the lead, I'll be second place, Sainz will pit onto super soft tyres, and now this is a crucial phase. Can Leclerc and I go fast enough to try and get enough of a gap to the point where when we pit, we're going to be quite close behind Sainz to try and make that overtake then late on in the Grand Prix. Moving on though towards the pit stop phases, it's very much Noah's Ark there, 2 by 2. You've got the two Alfa Romeo cars here of myself and Leclerc in 1 and 2. Then you've got Fernando Alonso ahead of Lewis Hamilton 3rd and 4th. Then you've got the two Mercs in 5th and 6th. And then it's even 2 by 2 for the Red Bulls. Carlos Sainz there on his one stop, and then a little bit further back there is Gasly, who's recovering. So he's done pretty well actually to get in the, I guess, same vicinity strategy, I guess, or at least make the 2 by 2 pattern happen there with Carlos Sainz in a way. Now we move on to lap 21, and the tyre wear is really kicking in for myself, and I'm going to say box in this lap because I really don't fancy going any longer. You can see Alonso there in the background is catching me somewhat, but by the time we get through to the last few corners, I'm surprised by Leclerc coming into the pit lane. You can see teammate in the pit, so I narrowly just avoid probably coming in, and so I didn't want to make the double stack work, and obviously Leclerc has the track position, so that's a bit annoying. So that's going to compromise me a little bit, and the two Renaults might gain on me somewhat because they've got better pace at this stage with the tyre wear, and I just don't. So I'm going to have to go on for one more lap. Then lap 22, eventually we will come in and just about make the pit lane entry. One of the Renaults, actually I think both Renaults continued on it, actually, surprisingly. So we'll see how they go. Clearly the Renaults seem pretty light on their tyres this race. But we're going to come in for another set of ultras then, and we should be behind Leclerc, but hopefully not too far behind. But we probably lost some time there, and then we'll see what we can do in terms of if there's a fight with the Renaults, or if both myself and Leclerc can catch up to Carlos Sainz. That'll be the more ideal scenario for maybe a 1-2 for Alfa Romeo. That would be pretty good and amazing really as a result. But right now we're out in P7, Leclerc P6. But now the moment of truth, seeing how close the Renaults are there. That's the second one. The other one is already on the main straight with me. That's Hamilton. And Alonso and Hamilton might be actually quite close and side by side there. So if the two Renaults fight amongst each other, that will help me out for sure. But you can see the gap to Leclerc is quite large actually. So Leclerc's been having some mega pace, and so I'm hoping he can be the one to go and overtake Carlos Sainz, who is now leading the Grand Prix once again, by the way. But like I said, eventually he will have the pace. You know, it doesn't matter if the Red Bull has the overall on paper, you know, pace. The tyre strategy is just a much better, better one, the more aggressive strategy today from us as a team there. So Leclerc with DRS overtakes Sainz up into first place of the Grand Prix. So GG's if he can hold that through to the end of it. Meanwhile, for us there, we're just doing a job in P3. We've got some traffic though, and Hamilton now is closing up, so the two Renaults have some good pace here at this stage, and so we need to be a little bit wary and try and defend for this podium position here. And I'm hoping this traffic doesn't hold us up too much here. Raikkonen is going so slow. We're going to catch him in a very awkward position here on the left hand side. He's just going to get out of that right now, and he actually gets out straight away for the Renaults. That's a bit annoying there. And so on the next straight, Hamilton might have a very good chance of overtaking us here, because obviously we don't have DRS, and DRS is so powerful here. No matter how much ERS I've got saved up, how much fuel I've got saved up, he's going to be strong. Leclerc's strong, purple lap time. So right now I just don't have the pace, the same pace as my teammate, to be honest. Just putting my hands up as we move on now to lap 28. And here comes Hamilton, then DRS open at this stage. We're rich mix overtake mode, but it's no use. The difference with that rear flap open is so strong. There's Verstappen set to purple now, so a lot of people behind me are fast, and Hamilton's overtaking me. He's up into P3. We're P4. We're going to stick behind him as close as we can. I'm going to try and stick with him because I want to try and fight and get this podium, because obviously third place would be better than the P4, you know, no matter what, you know, has happened with Gasly. You just want to try and get the highest position we can in this Grand Prix then. So we'll stick with him, but Alonso is also behind me, so we're in a bit of a Renault sandwich, and with a twitch of oversteer, that's not going to help us out as we move on to lap 29. And now instead of looking ahead, I'm looking behind again. And Alonso now is the Renault attacking me. We're going to go to the right-hand side, squeeze him very aggressively to right-hand side. My former teammate from McLaren Season 3. Seems like absolute ages ago since me and Alonso were in a title fight as teammates there in Season 3. But eventually we're going to carry on this sandwich, but we're going to start catching Hamilton once again as he hits some traffic and dirty air. And in the same awkward place as last time that we overtake Raikkonen, so we're in an awkward position for Lance Stroll. just about overtake the Canadian there. That could have been a front wing and race over kind of move there. We narrowly missed the Canadian, and so we slip behind Hamilton now as we swing through this lovely little camera shot there through the stadium section, dancing the car through the last few corners, trying to get the power on as early as we can to open DRS. We've got overtake mode to use, rich mix as well. Let's try and gain on Hamilton if we can. Alonso will gain on us, so it's going to be a double toe situation here, both of us gaining and gaining on Hamilton here. But look at the pace there, the slipstream is so OP, and we get across back up into P3. Bob's your uncle, very good stuff there. Happy to be back in the podium position right now, and now we'll try and get away from the two Renaults and try and seal the deal for this podium place here. But we've got more blue flags and more traffic coming up with the Force India car, so hopefully it's not another situation where we get held up by the Force India. But on to the next lap, we got past Perez with ease, and Renault's also as well, so now they're trying to slipstream me. I'm breaking the toe of Hamilton, moving to the right, to the left, but now into turn one, the safety car is out, the full safety car for retirement there, and so that's going to bunch everyone up, and now it's going to be a bit of a sprint race to the end of this race then. So this might just help Carlos Sainz massively against Leclerc, because he could bunch up and try and overtake him, and also for the Renaults, they might get a jump on me, and for Gasly as well. We haven't had an update on his position. I believe he's around P8 or P7. He could also do some great work then, jump up the order. We've got a bit of traffic ahead of us of Grosjean here. As we go on the restart, ahead of us, you can just about see Carlos Sainz there on the left-hand side of the circuit. Hamilton slipstreaming me, but I'm equally slipstreaming Grosjean, trying to get away from our fellow Brit as we pull to the left. We're going to watch this battle ahead into turn one. Sainz doesn't look like he's going to go for it there, so Leclerc will hold station for P1. We're on the second last lap of the Grand Prix, by the way, so the safety car actually stayed up for 3 laps, surprisingly, and so it's a 2-lap sprint race in this Grand Prix, but it looks pretty certain that Leclerc will be able to maintain that first place. Sainz P2, and I'm pretty confident I can maintain this P3. I'm going to try my best to maybe close up on Sainz. You can see here we are on the last lap of the Grand Prix through the second sector. I did gain, so I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 more laps. So I could have maybe got second place here and made it a 1-2 for Alfa Romeo, but alas, it is the last lap of the Grand Prix. We're oh so close to the Spaniard, but in the end, he'll be 3rd place there, and it's a fair play, a great win for Leclerc. He had much better pace than me, so he deserved to win it today. GG's, but we're going to go in 3rd place with Gasly down the order, and all in all, pretty fantastic Grand Prix for us.
Thank you for all your hard work out there. That was a strong drive and a good finish. Well done.
Congratulations to Sauber then for their excellent win today. And Anthony Davidson, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
Well, the safety car completely changed the race, didn't it? It's hard to say exactly what would have happened without it, but there's no question that they came out of that situation in a good position.
So there we have it, 1st and 3rd place. Gasly in the end finished in P8 there, getting ahead of Ricciardo. So I was just about right there, P8, P7 as my guess of where he was under the safety car there. So he finished up P8, and so that means we are once again ahead by 17 points this time. So before it was 16 points, then USA happened and he was 6 points behind. Now we're back to 17, 1 point more than we were going into USA. So it's pretty much balanced out what happened at USA in a way. And like I said, at Brazil, I think Gasly has like a 4 out of 5 chance to win that race, and you guys have known me. I've always struggled at Brazil, especially on this game. It is very challenging for me to kind of match the AI here consistently around Sao Paulo. So I think Gasly will probably shred that back down to about 6 or 7 points. Hopefully no more. We'll have to see about that, but that's why I was really wanting to have a good race here, and we've done that. You know, we've done the job, and now we can take a hit at Brazil tactically and then try and seal the deal at Abu Dhabi. Obviously, something could happen at Brazil. We could do the job at Brazil and get some points on him. I mean, that would be the more ideal situation, but I'm just thinking realistically, historically in this career mode, Brazil's always been a tough one for me against the AI, especially my championship leader, who always appears to be great at Sao Paulo. So we'll see about that, but that's been a really awesome episode, guys. Another win for Alfa Romeo Racing, finally. This time it's Leclerc. Fair play, GG's. He's had a lot of bad luck this season, so he deserves a win. Another win under his belt there, to be fair. So, guys, if you did enjoy the race, then be sure to hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. If you are new around here, do subscribe for weekly Formula 1 content. I've been aarava. Hope you enjoyed today. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.